he's preached here. Actually, he's going to preach for our next missions conference in March. And so he's preached here for our missions conference before. Tremendous preacher. I really enjoy him. But he has a ministry that is really geared around getting Bibles into Asia. And so they work with a lot of national pastors, work with some missionaries there. And Micah was able to go and go with him and get to see a little bit about Thailand and those. And so we'll have Connie come in just a minute, and then Micah will present. Why did God make this world in all of its beauty? I can hardly believe He did it for me. After all of His love and the care that He shows, how can I live my life unless I confess that it's for Christ's sake? I must labor and give my all. For Christ's sake, I will trust Him and will not fall. Not for honor or praise or earthly gain, but for only one cause that is worth giving all. Let us lay down our lives for Christ's sake. Why did God send His Son to leave heaven's shore? He gave me my life. Why did He give me more? I've a debt I would pay. If only I could, I can only begin. If I make the sacrifice, it's for Christ's sake. I must labor and give my all. For Christ's sake, I will trust Him and will not fall. Not for honor or praise or earthly gain, but for only one cause that is worth giving all. Let us lay down our lives for Christ's sake. Not for honor or praise or earthly gain, but for only one cause that is worth giving all. Let us lay down our lives. It is no sacrifice for the one who gave all for men. Let us lay down our lives for only Christ's sake. Sometimes I miss not get to sing with her on that one because normally we'd sing it together. But it's a neat song. It goes along with missions trips.
Right? Is that right? Okay. Thanks, Pastor, for giving me the time to be able to talk about the Dominican trip that went on. We usually have issues flying in and out of Miami. This year, we couldn't get out of Texas. 2 hours, we sat on the tarmac in DFW with American and a mechanical issue. So, of course, they pull you away from the gate so they're on time. But anyway, so that took our time in Miami from 3 hours and 3 minutes to 1 hour and 3 minutes to get to the gate to take us to the Dominican. Thank you, Lord. We landed in the same terminal that the flight from the Dominican was going out of. So we had 28 gates, I think, to make it down there, but at least we made it on time. Landed in the Dominican at 9:16 p.m. instead of after 1 a.m. like we normally do. So, slide, please. Okay, I need to check that. This year we were at a new hotel. Believe me, it was a major league upgrade from our past ones. It had a beautiful lobby. It had elevators that when you stepped in, you didn't have to pray that you were going to make it to the lobby. It had running water every single time you turned the faucet on. Instead of last year, we had a day and a half without it. And the best part, as you can see, we had a breakfast buffet every morning. It was free. The best part was, Pastor, we had bacon every day. And then guess what? We had sausage too. So we were rolling. So Sunday morning, the bus came by to pick us up at 8:30. You can change slide, please. This is Pastor Manor and his wife, Julie. They are the head pastor of the Haitian ministry group in Earl's Church. So we had a Haitian Creole service. So they preached to us in Creole. They sang in Creole. So unfortunately, unlike being here, you're sitting there going, okay, we're good. And the next slide is his church. We were at Sunday morning service. And after the service, we had lunch at church. And we spent the afternoon. You can change the next slide, please. Yes. Yes, we did. And after the service, we had lunch, and then we spent the afternoon at church getting Earl's sanctuary and different places ready for the 4 rotations we were going to have. And as you can see, we had blessing bags. This is all the group that came with me. There was 28 of us in total. So we filled 150 mission bags for Earl's Church. We filled 100 for the church in Jawita. As you saw, it had the green frisbee. It also had a jump rope. It had a religious coloring book with crayons attached. And then they had a crazy straw. They seemed to like the crazy straws over there. And so then we got all of that together, plus American candy. They love American candy. And after completing the setup, then we had church that evening. And at Earl's Church, again, the big to-do on Sunday night is the kids' concert. And they do a special concert for us. It takes them 3 months to work on this and get it together. The older kids did, and I'll come to you in a minute. The older kids did Bible verses for us by memory. Most of them did 3, 4, 5, 6 verses by memory. Very bold, not a single hesitation for any of those things. And then we had the kids, the 4 to 6-year-olds. And this upcoming slide is for you all from Earl's Church. And as you can see, most of them are always dressed in their Sunday best when it comes to this. And the next slide is the kids singing Joy Deep Down in My Heart. The thing that was the best was they sang it in Spanish. Then they sang the chorus in English for us, and then back to Spanish. So we're going to get a little... Always such an enjoyable time because they're always so proud of their performance. Monday morning, the alarm goes off at 6:30. We meet in the hotel for breakfast to start the week. This is all of the group that came with us. There was 3 churches. We had the Heights Church in Richardson. We had the Cross Church, former First Baptist Wiley, and then we had First Baptist Lavon. It was a good trip, lots of success. I had 6 pastors with me. 3 had pastors like Pastor Matthew, and 3 youth pastors. So it got interesting in a day or 2, but it turned out just fine. We all made it back to Texas, let's put it that way. Okay, the next slide. This is registration on Monday. There's probably 100 or so kids there right now. You will see on the you see on the table the different colors of bracelets, and that's so we can put them in the age category that they belong. And that is 4 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10, and 11 to 12. After the day starts with an opening session, then we go into rotation, and each group does a rotation. So we have crafts, we have singing and dancing, they have snack time and story time, and then they have games. So each of them get to do that in a full rotation around, so it takes a couple hours. We're there from 9 o'clock to about noon, and then, next slide, that's Earl's Church. The next slide from there, please. They fed us every single day, and as you can see, we did pretty good. We had pulled pork, pulled chicken, rice, beans, fresh fruit, salads, desserts every single day. And Earl loves when we come down because he doesn't get just rice and beans every day. So after that, then we went off to Jawita. This is the Haitian church. This is the new church that Earl built the last time he was here, and he talked about it. And those went from 2 in the afternoon to 5 p.m. And if you go to the first slide, this is the old church. And if you look at it, we would be there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It had a front door, a back door, no windows, and it had a tin roof. So by the time you walked in the afternoon, you were like in a little sauna. And this is the inside of the old church. As you can see, wooden benches, so on and so forth. So the next slide is the new church, and this is it in Jawita. It is now, instead of 1 story, it is 3 stories tall. The first floor is their classrooms. The second floor is their sanctuary. And the third floor is their outdoor, but fenced in because it's on the top. That's where they hold their games and different things like that. So then, from there, we started, and that's the inside of the church. As you can see, way different than what it was in the past. And then we went to, I think we're going to go, there we go. The stories for the Sunday school was Jonah and the Whale, as you can see there. The next one was God is the Light of the World. Oop, got them backwards, that's okay. It's Samson, great man of God. And then we had Jesus is the Light of the World. Jesus is the Light of the World was my actually first failure in 7 years in crafts. We were supposed to do a lantern at Earl's Church, and we wound up doing this because we were going to do a lantern that showed, you had the tissue paper behind it to look like it was lit, and then it had a cross inside. Well, when I read it on the instructions, you know, everything was peel and, you know, just stick. Not so. When we opened them up, there was like 40 pieces of little bitty pieces of tissue paper. And we're going, for the 4- and 6-year-olds, this is not going to work. So anyway, so we scrambled around because I took enough. I always try to do that just in case we have a failure. So this is the kids where they did Jesus is the Light of the World. And what I find so interesting with all of their drawings is they always draw Samson. they draw Christ, they draw Jonah, they always draw them as white. And I find that interesting, I guess. So anyway, the total number of kids for the 3 days at Earl's Church was 401. At Jawita for 3 days, it was 168. So that was a total of 567 kids. So needless to say, it was a great success. We also had a family come forward and give their life to Christ. And that was fantastic because the little girl that led them was from the Cross Church, 18 years of age, and she had never led anyone to Christ. And she was my roommate, and that's all she could talk about, and I was perfectly fine with it. But she led a grandmother and a grandfather and 2 grandchildren to God. And so they came forward in the church, and we were all basically crying with her, but it was okay. And then a little bit about life around the Dominican. One of the things I've noticed is there is no middle class there. You're either rich or you're poor. This is the normal Dominican houses. This is Hillside. And then the next one you'll see is their streets. So it's basically like, to me, you know, the south side of Chicago or, you know, the inner city in Dallas. Every state I know has one. But then you have this house, and then you have the next one, and you can see they very, very different in lifestyles. Then shopping in Santo Domingo for clothes, so on and so forth. There is no such thing as Macy's, Walmart, Target, any of those types of stores. What takes place is, and this is a typical street, what takes place is the United States and other countries as well donated clothes to like Goodwill, those different types, Salvation Army, those different types of things. The things that they can't sell in their own stores, they then dry clean, wash, whatever, and then send it back to the Dominican Republic. So this is a typical Main Street, and then the next slide shows the children's clothes. The next slide shows women's clothes. And then we have the souvenir mall, okay? And that is exactly what it is. It is a souvenir mall, caps, you know, trinkets, those types of things. They don't sell clothes there like we think in our own mall. Then there are 3 slides for the church, or 2 slides for this church for the guys who love electricity. This is the first one. Okay. Now you wonder why we lost electricity on Wednesday. All day. We got to Earl's Church. This really is a good one. Go ahead and look at the next one. And the electrical boxes in the houses look just like that. There is no electrical boxes inside. Everything's out on the outside wall. So we lost power on Wednesday. Thank heavens when we got to Earl's Church, he has a generator, so that wasn't any issue. When we got to Jawita, they had nothing. So instead of being in the basement for crafts and things like that, everything went to the top floor outside, which was great. And then driving in the Dominican. And Mr. Ron is laughing. Yes, him and I have both been there. There are very few stop signs, very few stoplights. Mostly it's horn honking. And I will tell you, Pastor Earl and Pastor Manor are excellent at the job. I hope he's not going to see this. Anyway, this is a typical street. We are probably 45 minutes, maybe an hour to get to between the 2 churches. In that distance, we have 1 stoplight. That's it. We have no stop signs. We don't have anything. And the only reason you have that stoplight is because it's coming out of the city and onto the 3 lanes each direction. Next one, please. This is what it looks like. Motorcycles make up about 65% of transportation in the area, and they have absolutely no rules. They drive up next to you. They do the double yellow line. They do the same thing in Texas. They drive the white line, okay? And they're constantly honking and doing and going, and we're just going back and forth all the time. And as Ron can attest, thank heavens we were in a bus, okay, like 30-person bus. But every time we were on the road, everybody's going, ooh, oh, did you see that? I mean, it was constant in the bus the whole time. It was pretty interesting. And then I'm going to leave you with my best pictures of all. This is the motorcycles. Okay, so this should tell you everything you need to know. This is a gentleman, as you can see now, folks, he is going down a 6-lane highway, 3 on each side, okay? And you know he's not holding on to anything. He can't be. He's got 2 chairs in his arms, okay? The next one is what Matthew was talking about today. We've seen these gentlemen every single day, I'm assuming going to work, 4 men on. You can see the guy in the back's barely on, but he's there. And then the last one is just kind of whatever. This too, folks, was on a 6-lane highway, okay? And and one of the gentlemen that was sitting on the bus is, all of a sudden he gets this squeal out, and we all look over, and this is what we see. Okay, we followed him along for probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. So anyway, that's what happens in the Dominican, folks. It was wonderful to go down. It was very, very successful. And I want to thank each and every one of you for donations, for prayers, for all of those things, because none of this would happen, and especially in my 7th year, without your all guys' assistance. And I truly, truly, truly do appreciate it. Thank you.
God really has started a revival. Matter of fact, while he was here, they're having those kind of things we're doing. All right?
And one of the things with Earl, the Haitians and the Dominicans both share an but they do not belong to one another. The Dominicans have a president. They have a structured government. It may not be the best, but at least it's structured. In Haiti, they killed their president a few years back. So now it's whatever gang reigns, is supreme. So the fact that Earl has a church, his home church in Barrio Nuevo, that is both Haitian and Dominican population preaching and teaching and working in the same church together is probably maybe, there may be 10 churches, I don't even know how many, but I know his is one, in the whole island that is successful. And it is very successful.
They don't get.
It's like the Jews in America.
Yeah.
They don't get. It's a unique ministry. God knows what.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have my pictures? No, very sad. He's supposed to have my pictures. Okay, there we go. So I went to Thailand with Brother Earl. Brother Earl is a little, not Brother Earl. I really like the Dominican. It's nice. No, Brother Hall. Brother Hall is a little bit of a different missionary. He does not do missions the way you would think he does missions. He does not go there and provide. He doesn't like go to churches and stuff. He goes and he preaches around at churches, but that's not his main mission effort. His main mission effort is this. He does Bibles, which in Thailand is huge because they don't have a way to buy Bibles like anywhere. In order for them to get a Bible, they have to either buy from like the Missionary Society of Bibles, which does not have good translations of Bibles, or that's it. Like that's the only way for them to get Bibles. So Brother Hull gets churches in America to pack up and ship John Romans. We did that one time in Indiana, actually. I don't think we've done that here, but we did pay for him to do that one time, I think. So what he does is they ship in this giant container full of John Romans, and then he unloads it at his distribution center, which is where we stayed. So we like just took it out of the truck. You can go to the next picture. I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it just goes down the gully and then it goes into the building. So that was Wednesday. Got there on Tuesday. And Wednesday, we packed his whole distribution center full of boxes of John and Romans. And then the pastors in the area will come to him and he will give them John and Romans and Bibles and tracts. I actually have some of the Thai tracts in my Bible. So we get all these John and Romans. That's what we did. And then you go to the next picture. Yay. This is what his helper there, Tan, does. Tan takes his John Romans, his Bibles, and he goes through all of Thailand, and he distributes them. So all of the pins, you can't really see them, the little blue, the pink, the yellow, all of the pins, it doesn't matter what color, those are all the spots where Tan personally has gone to distribute Bibles in Thailand. So they just have a map there to like keep track of it. Go to the next one, please. Maybe. Can you all hear me? Am I too quiet? I'm sorry. I'm not at the mic. Oh. Here, I'll come back over here. There we go. Can you go to the next slide? There we go. So in Thailand, they don't have as much of transportation, as much at least not in Bangkok itself. In Bangkok, they use more public transportation. They have like 18 million people, and out of all of them, they said only about 6 million actually have like a car or a bike. So that leaves like 12 million people that have no way to get around. So they all go on like trains and stuff. So like when we went into Bangkok on Wednesday night. No, Thursday night. When we went into Bangkok, we took a train to the subway, then we took a taxi, then we got where we wanted to go, then we took a taxi back to the subway, then we took the subway to the train, then we took the train back out. So like you can go almost anywhere in Thailand. I have a picture of like the map. I don't know if it's on there. And this is Tan. This is Brother Hall's dude in Thailand, and he goes around and he basically distributes everything. Go ahead, go to the next picture. There we go. Awesome. So this is where we went on Wednesday night. This is, if I remember right, he's actually a Filipino pastor in Thailand, and he has a lot of Filipinos in his church that have come over to Thailand either to teach or on visas or whatever that he does inside Bangkok. And that was really special. They actually sang a really nice song. Maybe we go to the next one. The next morning, on Thursday morning, I was able to get my testimony to pastor. But it was more so cool to be able to see because he doesn't just work with I work with independent Baptists. Because nobody can get Bibles, he's doing his best to make sure everybody can get them. So what he does is the pastors come to him and they'll sit and meet in the lobby of the hotel where he has a distribution center. And Tan will talk with the pastors and he'll explain to them what their ministry is. So how we're going to do Bibles, what are the policies that we follow. So for example, you have to believe in we're saved by grace, right? We don't get saved by works. He has 3 main beliefs that he has. We're saved by grace, that the church is independent, and that there is virgin birth, stuff like that. He has 3 main policies that he does, and he explains it to them, and they have to accept them to make sure that they don't try to take his Bibles and then turn around and sell them, right? So he meets with the pastors, they discuss, they plan, they pass them out. This is the picture of Diamond Place, and this is where he keeps all of his Bibles and stuff. That is Tan's truck that he uses to drive around and distributes all his Bibles everywhere. But again, he's trying to just get the Bibles everywhere because they don't have any way to get it. So it's really, really cool ministry that he does. Go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, so we went down from Bangkok to Hue Hin on Friday. Got there on Friday, and on Saturday, we were able to go out soul winning with 2 different pastors, 2 different missionaries from the States. Now I'm blanking on their names. The Bushies and the dude that stayed at our house whose name I have rapidly forgotten. Yes. Forrest. And what's the last name? Yes, the Inmans. I'm sorry. I knew this, and then my mind just went blank, okay? I'm sorry. So the Inmans. We went out sewing with the Inmans in the morning, and this is actually a Thai kickboxing training center. So they just have a training center in the neighborhood, and all the kids in the area will come, and they'll just train in kickboxing during the day for free. And then at night, they'll hold tournaments where people will actually come and pay to practice and stuff. So we went out sewing in the morning. In Thailand, it's generally not as third world as you would think. There are areas in the city where they're living under a metal roof. They don't have any walls, they don't have any plumbing or nothing. But in general, it's not like that. There's generally buildings and houses. Go ahead, go to the next one. Okay, that's Sunday. But yeah, they only don't have it's not as third world as you would think it is. But anyway, so on Sunday we went in the morning to a church about an hour south of Hue Hin. And they had a service there, and that was a Thai service, and then they had Karen. So if you see this guy here, you see how he has his shirt, and then he has the white thing overwards? That's what I have, okay? This is not a purse, I promise. I'm not wearing a purse, okay? Some of y'all looked at me funny, I'm sorry. This is not a purse, okay? They would wear this weird shirt. It's made out of this material, but they would wear it over their clothes. A lot of them had that, or they had one of these, or some of them had both. And they would keep their Bible and stuff in it. It's like a bag. The guys were wearing them, okay? Not the girls. It's not a purse, I promise. So anyway, and you can see these guys have them too. But the Karen people aren't actually Thai people. They are a tribe of Indians, kind of, that live in Burma. But because Burma have a civil war, the people in Burma will kill them. So they flee Burma to come to Thailand. But in Thailand, they're illegal. So if they get caught by the authorities in Thailand, they will ship them back to Burma, and the Burma people think they're rebels, so they kill them. So they're kind of stuck in this in-between spot where they go to Burma, they die, but if they get caught in Thailand, they get shipped back to Burma. So they're kind of in this really stuck spot. So they have a Bible college there. Go ahead and go to the next one. But that was Sunday. Sunday night, so Sunday morning I went with one of the missionaries. Sunday night I went with Brother Inman. That's him there. And we played soccer. And we won. It was not my ability. Okay, I didn't do very good. The guy on our team, Jake, got 5 goals, so he won the game. But anyway, so we played soccer. What he does is he plays soccer in a neighborhood. They rent out this soccer field, and they invite all of the Thai teenagers and kids to come play soccer. And then at the end, they will give them the plan of the gospel, give them a Bible story. It's their outreach ministries, how they do it there. So, yeah, that was Sunday. Go ahead and go to the next picture. This was Tuesday. Tuesday we went here, which is where the Karen people are at. They have a Bible institute that they go to, and they sing a song while we're there. I sent you a video. Does it not work? they sang a song. It was really, really cool to see them because, like, again, they're stuck in like this in-between spot. They can't go to the government. They can't have a job or anything because they're not legal. They sang for us, but so when we got there, I was able to speak, and Brother Hall spake, and then Brother Russ spake. He's the one that came with us. So we had like a speaking time, and then we had like a question time. So like they were kind of interesting because like normally you go to some other country, you ask questions. You're like, hey, so how's America? Or how's Thailand? They didn't ask that. The first question was, can you explain the Trinity to us? And then the next question was like, how are we supposed to love our enemies? So you could see, even just the way they sang and the way they did things, they really loved God and they really wanted to serve him what they did. It was very convicting to be like, these people are stuck in a spot where they can't do a lot of things that we can do as Americans, but they're more concerned about learning about God than some of us are over here. So that's where I got this bag, was from them. But then go ahead and go to the next picture. So their college is on a rubber farm, and that's how they make money. They have like Thai people there that own the rubber farm, and they take care of them through the rubber farms. They take the rubber trees, they cut them, it leaks rubber in, and then the white stuff in the bowl is actually rubber that they'll take and make like tires and stuff. So it's on a rubber farm. That was really cool. And then, so it is out in the country. It's like a 2-hour drive out of Hua Hin, and we drove through an area where they have wild elephants. And we didn't see any wild elephants. I was kind of sad. But we did see bamboos on the way back. There should be another video. I sent you 2 videos. I only sent you 2.
Oh, sure enough.
So there was one on that side, and then the other side there was a whole bunch of them. So I have another video with a ton of them, but I didn't send them all my stuff because I didn't want to take too much time. But anyway, so I sent another video. There's bamboos all over the place, and then we went back to Hua Hin itself. Go ahead and go to the next one. This is another picture of the Bible College. This is from the rubber field. That's like their gym area. They have like their dorms, their food area, and then all the way down is the blue building. You can't really see it. All the way down there is where they have like their meetings and stuff, and they do a Bible college there. And we actually met another missionary there who is from Australia. No, South America. He speaks French. His name was Pierre. I think his name was Pierre. But he speaks French, he speaks English, and he speaks Thai. And he teaches in their Bible college and stuff. And this is Brother Russ. He pastors in Indiana, and that's obviously Brother Hall. Yes, they have drums. But I was speaking, and then this is the other guy. And then go ahead and go to the next slide. Say what? Sorry? Oh, no shoes. Yeah, no, you can't wear your shoes anywhere. You have to take your shoes off everywhere you go. So, like, if you go inside a building, not necessarily if you go, like, to a mall or something, but if you, like, go to someone's house or you go to church, like, we would all have to take our shoes and you'd put them outside before you come inside the church. It's kind of different, but it's, it's their culture. It's how they do it. They want to keep their shoes clean, so I just took my shoes off, walked around in my socks all the time. I didn't go around barefoot. That'd be kind of weird. But yeah, no, I didn't do that. I just wore socks, okay? I had socks on. But anyway, so they have this giant monument at like a roundabout, but all over the country, like everywhere. They have like these yellow flags, and they have like these gold monument things, and they'll have pictures of the royal family of Thailand. It's like England kind of, as in it's a monarchy, but it's not like England, as in like the king can come in and just take over when he decides that the government's not doing what they're supposed to. The king doesn't use that power very much from what I understand, but he can just come in and say, no, we're going to do this, right? But generally it's just like they have a parliament and stuff. But they have pictures, go ahead and go to the next one, I think it's the next one, yeah. They have pictures like this of the royal family like all over the country. And they also have, it's not in that picture, go ahead and go to the next one. I think I put it in there. Yes, they have Buddha everywhere too. So they'll have like little spirit houses outside their businesses like everywhere. So it's like this podium, and then it just has like this little tiny dollhouse on top. And they put food and flowers and drinks and water to it, and they like hope the spirits are happy with them so that they have a place to live at their house. But this was a Buddhist temple they had in the area, and they have Buddha's like everywhere too. And they have like the priests with like their orange garments. And like 99% of the country is Buddhist. There's Muslims, more so than Christians. I think I have my numbers right. I might be wrong. Y'all can correct me later. I think my numbers are right. I don't know. But anyway, so most of the country is Buddhist, but we went to this temple and they will worship Buddhists. Then you can see they have like gifts and offerings. And then they're monks. They're kind of like Catholics. If you're good enough of a monk, you become a saint, basically. They don't call them saints. But then they'll worship you too, and they can like give offerings and stuff to you. Go ahead, go to the next one. Okay, yes, so after we went to the temple, we rode an elephant. I don't really have a picture of me because you can't really see it very well if it's a picture of me because I was like on the elephant. But they rode the elephant, and their guide actually just like got off and left them and just like walked off. So the elephant just like wandered around getting food and stuff. Now the guide was close enough. I don't think he would just leave him, but he did. He just left them. So, yeah. It was cool. It was weird because, like, when you go up a hill, you, like, go all the way back like you're going to fall off. And then when you go down, it's the same thing. And we went down in the water and stuff. It was cool. It was kind of terrifying, too, because, like, we went through the jungle and, like, there wasn't any, like, space. You were, like, in the jungle. So, like, I get on this thing and we start going in the jungle and he goes, oh, by the way, there's snakes. I was like, thanks. Just what I wanted to hear. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, anyway. It was kind of terrifying. But we got out of the jungle. Anyway, next slide. Okay, so my last day there, we kind of wandered around, did random jobs and stuff. It was Friday. So Thursday night, actually, we went to a Thai church. And that is where Brother Hall spake. And they had, again, you'd take your shoes off at the door, but they had like racks at the door where you put your shoes and stuff. But on Thursday, we went to a printer shop. And again, he is printing tracts and stuff, but he's trying to do it in the most efficient way possible, obviously. He's not trying to spend money. So this is their printer shop. But he was able to print tracts in this shop for 1 penny a track. It is, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty cheap there. You can do a lot of stuff really, really cheap. But he's able to print tracts for 1 penny a track, and then he's trying to get a quote on New Testaments. He didn't have it yet when I left. But he wants us to print a lot of tracts for him. So he said to tell you all that we need to send him money to print tracts. So if we get a chance, that's what he wants us to do. But anyway, it was a really good trip. I can't really say that I was much of a blessing to them. I tried, but it was more so a blessing to me in being able to see all the different areas. Because we went with the Inmans, we went with the Bushies, we went with Brother Hull, we went with a young guy who's about 25. Dude's a lawyer. Like, he studied, went to law school, and now he's going in the ministry. Like, he's insane, amazing guy. He goes out he runs a bus route, he helps in everything in the church. His name's Jack. But there's a lot of people like that to see just different picture of a different country still trying to serve God and just get different pictures, different ministry. Like, you have Brother Hall's ministry, who's trying to get Bibles to everybody. You had the Bushies, who was trying to pastor a church and help them grow. You had the Inmans, who was helping multiple different churches. And then to be able to see a Thai church itself that was just doing what we would do over here, but they're doing it in Thailand because that's where they are. I think this is my last picture, right? No? Go ahead and go back. This is the church on Thursday night. So this guy is Chris, and he loved the singing and everything. He's a really nice guy. I think he was 22 too. Go back to the last picture. Okay, so this lovely little taxi that's yellow is a Corolla, and we put 3 of us in the back seat, and it was a little tight. But they have those taxis everywhere, all over the place. You ride by taxi, and they do have a ton of motorbikes too. And they do the same thing like they do in the Dominican. They just pack everything up and everything. They just take all the space they can. But anyway, again, I really appreciate. Yes, I do have this last video. This was Saturday. Sorry if you, that wasn't the best video. But anyway, I was just trying to show you a picture. That's another neighborhood there in Thailand. It's a little bit more like you would have in the States. And I do have a ton more pictures and videos and stuff if y'all want to see later. But anyway, I really appreciate y'all, especially praying for me and everything, trying to figure everything out. Prayer and the donations y'all gave, it was really a blessing to me to be able to go. Yes, anyway, that's it.
I also take just a second. I know we're almost out of time, but I wanted to show you. There's I'm reading verses in Isaiah. I'm studying in my Bible reading. In Isaiah chapter 51. Look at Isaiah chapter 51. You know, I was talking to someone not that long ago, and they said, I'm going to take this off. I don't like this. asking about the gospel and the Lord, of course, going to the Gentiles. But I want you to know, you can go all the way in the Old Testament. God's plan has always been, He is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. That is the theme of the Bible, if you will, is that He came to seek and to save that which was lost. He's not willing that any should perish. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, okay? And as you read little verses, as you go different places, sometimes you find these little nuggets as you're studying. That's why it's important to study the Word of God as you read. Don't just read it. Look at it, study it, think about it. But Isaiah chapter 51, the Lord is talking to the nation of Israel. He's telling them, they're getting ready. At this point, He is prophesying that you're going to be in Babylon. Your cities, of course, are going to be destroyed. He's talked earlier in the chapters about his servant Cyrus, prophesied about Cyrus 300 years before Cyrus actually was born. And so he's told them about Cyrus. Here he's telling them, you're going to go, and I want to make some promises to you. So when you go through your hard time, you can trust the promises that I'm going to give you. And he tells them in chapter 51, verse 1, hearken unto me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord. Look unto the rock whence ye are hewn, and to the hole, to the pit whence you are digged. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you, for I called him alone, and blessed him, and increased him. He's reminding the children of Israel, he said, listen, remember where you came from. Remember that Abraham, right, I called him out of the land of Ur, and he followed me. And so I want to show you guys, he says, I want to show you, you look back to Abraham, and I worked in Abraham's life, and just as much as I worked in Abraham's life, I want to work in your life. So it goes on in verse 3, for the Lord shall comfort Zion, He will comfort all her waste places, and will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving, and the voice of melody. Now remember, this is prophesying to them that they're later going to be in Babylon after Jerusalem is destroyed, right? So this is there as their promise, so that later on when they go to Babylon, they can look back on these promises and say, God promised that He would restore our country. God promised that there would come a day when there was thanksgiving, there was singing, there was joy again. Verse 4 says, hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O nation, for a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. My righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth, and mine arm shall judge the people. Then look at this little phrase. The isles shall wait upon me, and on my arm shall they trust. Now, what he's talking about in this aspect of the islands is not talking about just an island in the ocean that we think of. What he's saying is, you are a people I've called, I've chosen, but I want you to know it's not just for you. It's for the uttermost. It's not just for the nation of Israel. It's for all people. And he says, I'm going to do a work in the nation of Israel, but I want you to know my heart is that all people are saved. See, it doesn't make any difference where you go, Old Testament, New Testament, you will find God wants everyone to know Him. The Bible says the heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament showeth His handiwork. The Bible tells us in Revelation or in Romans chapter 1 that the invisible things of Him are seen in the creation. He says, I've declared myself. You cannot go a place on the world that I have made that I have not declared myself. So when you think about places to us that are far off, God says, I care about those places. I care about Thailand. I care about islands off to the sea. I care about those far off countries. And he said, they wait upon me, and my arm shall they trust. And then look, it says, verse 6, lift up your eyes to the heavens, and look upon the earth beneath. For the heaven shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment. And they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. All throughout Isaiah, he talks about the heavens, and he declares the heaven. Verse 13 says, and forgettest the Lord thy Maker, that hath stretched forth the heavens, and laid the foundation of earth, and had feared continually every day. Another place it talks about, he stretches the heavens like a garment. The other night, we were sitting in the living room, and we had watched something, and someone thought they saw a bug. I won't tell you who this one was, just like I won't tell you this morning. They shall remain nameless, okay? They thought they saw a bug, and all of a sudden I hear this loud, ah, a bug's here. So, needless to say, I thought they were screaming about a snake. And you know I hate snakes. Like, I believe they are evil, evil. Evil, 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 evil. The only thing above a snake is a cat. Right by a snake. I'm not big on cats either, okay? So, but snakes give me the creeps. So, this person starts screaming. I'm thinking there's a snake. I jump off the couch. I jump behind the couch because I have to get as far away from that snake as possible. I will let the snake get my wife first. Then I will save her, maybe, right? If I can. But then we take the blanket, and we grab this blanket after we realized it was a bug and it wasn't a snake, and we stretched it out. And we're looking at this blanket to see where is this little bug that someone was worried about. Little bug. And we looked on both sides of it. We stretched it. One person holding it. I'm holding on the other side to show we could not find the bug. It probably vanished in the living room. But you know, took two of us to stretch that big blanket out. It was bigger than my arms could go. Just me. But God says he stretches out the heavens like a garment. What is beyond our ability even to see, beyond our ability to comprehend. He knows the stars by their name, but then he stretches out the heavens and says, oh yeah, I'm bigger than this. And we see the God who's that big cares for all people. All people. He cares for those way out in the, he says, hey, I want you to know in Isaiah, we're getting ready, in the next chapter talks about Jesus Christ. He hath borne our sorrows. He was esteemed, stricken of men. He says he comes for all. So when you look at those faces, all kinds of different faces in those pictures, right? Each one is precious to Christ. Each one is loved by him. Each one he cares about. He wants them to know him. What a wonderful God that we have, that he loves for all people. I'm glad he didn't just come and say, I want this group of people to be saved or this economic status to be saved. No. It's for all. Gospel is for everybody. And it's a neat thing, an amazing thing to me. All right? Let's have a song. Do we have a song? We don't have a song. Joanna, you have a song? What song were we going to have for invitation? All right, let's stand. We're going to sing Just As I Am. Why don't you take a second and we're going to sing that. Why don't you pray for one of our missionaries? Maybe take the first verse as she plays. Pray for our missionaries. Pray that God will work in their lives. Pray that God will keep them from evil.